feel drained. Did I tell you that I'd only planned to stay at DWOBoyle for 6 months? 6 months of hard lab work that could get me access to a grant for my research. It just felt like every time I went to hand in my notice, something would happen that meant I had to put off leaving. The ceiling falling through last winter, the staff shortage the year before that. When Pete left me, that felt like the nail in the coffin. I could barely afford the payments for our flat on my own. I couldn't afford to leave, and I still can't. It's funny how life gets under your skin, isn't it? When do you stop being an individual and become feed for the world to sustain itself off of? I worked so hard to get my degree. I thought that was the work done, that I had proven myself worthy of a career that would fulfill me. But it seems like everything I did just proved that I could be worked to the bone. Blood, sweat, and tears pooling into a piece of paper that means nothing and gives nothing. DWOBoyle hides under the guise of innovation, but in reality, it relishes in employing people like me, graduates flushed with promise, to meet their relentless demands, keeping them ensnared with sticky contracts that promise to scar you if you try and free yourself. I've had insomnia since before Pete left. It didn't take long until the days at DWOBoyle siphoned off all my patience and any other qualities that apparently made me a good partner. Though the lack of sleep is what led to my chronic irritability. Running on zero all the time. I didn't care if I was being mean, short-tempered or irrational. All the things that gave me a reason to get out of bed in the morning became insults to me. I hated him. I'm not surprised that he left me. The nightmares are new, though. When I do eventually get some sleep, I soon wake in a cold sweat, writhing and cloying sheets, shuddering under waves of fear and nausea that ripple over me as I fight my way to consciousness. The dreams are always the same. It's night, and I'm wading into a dark, stagnant lake. It takes what feels like an age for it to reach my hips, and the water is cold and reeks of filth. An iridescence of oil clings to my skin where it touches the surface of the water, and my toes catch on weeds and rubbish alike, making me shiver more deeply than the cold. Something long and slick grazes against my leg, and I reach down in the water to brush it aside, to continue moving forward. But when I raise my hand back towards the surface, I see through the water that the skin is littered with dark patches, like the spots on a leopard. It's only when my hand breaks the surface of the water that I realise what they are. Leeches. Upon contact with the air, they writhe viciously, and the parts of my arm that they cling to start to burn. Disgust hits me like a kick in the stomach, and I seize up. I struggle to move my ribs enough to breathe, let alone raise my other hand to try and pry them off my skin. I watch, eyes wide in horror as they seem to get fatter by the second, feasting, engorging themselves on my blood. I feel dizzy watching them as their movement slows and they drop off back into the water one by one, leaving angry red craters in my arm where they hung off me. The red of the wounds garish against my pale, frigid flesh. It's then that I realise that I haven't stopped walking. I'm up to my chest in the water, and the deeper I go, the more I can see. The moonlight cruelly bright from its perch far above me. The skin of my stomach is peppered with them. I can't see my legs, but I recognise now how heavy they feel, and how hard it is to move my limbs through the thick, slimy weeds that sprout up from the waterbed. I start to sob. I feel weak, taking almost 3 times as long to take even one step, but I can't stop moving forward. My fear, like a rash, hot as it blossoms across my brain, begging to be relieved. Like the appetite of the lake. I feel now how the hunger that compels me needs me to satiate it. Like I am the balm that can soothe 1,000 tiny agonies. I stop moving, my chin resting on the surface of the water, the smell of sewage rank in my nostrils. Below me, I feel the long, undulating weeds of the lake shift closer and latch onto whatever slithers of skin are left. My vision starts to fade, and I know that when my strength fails me too, they will take my eyes, my cheeks, my tongue. Clouds cover the moon, and without the energy to scream, I surrender to the nest and its children. My therapist told me to get a new job. I haven't been to a session in weeks. I wasn't able to get her to understand, like I could just walk away. Your overcore is within me now. When I'm not at work, I sit in the shadows of my bedroom and I scratch my arms and legs. And the last thing I hear in my head before I go to sleep is, "Good work today. We'll see you tomorrow." It's funny. If you asked me what my job was, I wouldn't know what to tell you. Who I work with, even where the goddamn building is, I don't know anymore. All I know is I go to that place and I itch, and then when I'm back at the flat, I claw at myself, trying to ignore the sores I'm making on my body. Good work today. We'll see you tomorrow. I lie awake, barely able to contain the desire to pull myself apart, feeling like something is wriggling beneath my skin, inside my veins, inside my mind. And it hungers for something I cannot give it. And I realize that I hunger. I hunger too.